Hello everyone, welcome to Newton Gate, where we make your dreams come true. Today I'll be discussing class 11 chapter Human Physiology on digestion and absorption. So let's get started. Digestion and absorption is a physiological process which is essential to run the human system or the human physiology. Now, an organism, to maintain its life cycle or lifespan, it has to go through the reproduction process and also it has to go through the growth process. Okay, now this growth involves another two steps, that is, first is the infants, then after that adults. Okay, another thing is that the organism has to protect itself from various environmental changes that is occurring. Okay, now there are various environmental changes can be there, such as temperature fluctuation, humidity change, then attack from other organisms. So there can be different types of protection. Okay, one has to protect itself. Now, to protect itself or to grow in number or to reproduce, all these are energy driven process. All this process needs energy, isn't it? All these are energy driven process. Okay, all these are energy driven process. So now the question comes that from where does the organism acquire this energy? From where does the organism acquire this energy? They acquire this energy from the nutrition they take or the nutrients they take. Now, from where this nutrition comes from? This nutrition comes from the environment, of course, okay, or the system. Now, basically, there are plants, then animals, and another group, that is bacteria. Okay, so for plants they have the sun or the solar energy. Okay, so they utilize CO2 and water to produce glucose. Okay, to produce glucose. Okay, but on the other hand, animals do not have the capability to produce their own food. For that they depend on either plants or other organisms for their nutrition. Okay, so that is the basic difference between plants and animals. And on the other hand, bacteria depends on plants as well as on other organisms for their nutrition purpose. Now, from this we can easily draw a conclusion that there are basically two types or two modes of nutrition. One is autotrophic mode of nutrition. Another one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so basically these are the two modes of nutrition. Another mode of nutrition is also present, that is chemotrophic nutrition. nutrition. So this is the third type of chemotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay. So what happens in this chemotrophic mode of nutrition? Let us discuss what is chemotrophic mode of nutrition. They acquire nutrition, these chemotrophs acquire nutrition by breaking the organic molecules. Now the question comes that from where do they get this organic molecules? So answer is they get these organic molecules from organisms, obviously, isn't it? So they get these organic molecules from organisms, and after that they break down those organic molecules. Okay. So this is a one kind of nutrition, that is chemotrophic nutrition. This can be seen in, like you may see in deep oceans where sunlight is not available, where sunlight is unavailable. Okay, where sunlight is unavailable. So now the question comes that, so basically what happens when we take food, we take it in a complex form. But our body cannot utilize that complex food. Okay, it needs to get broken down into simpler ones. It needs to get broken down into simpler food substance. After that it can be absorbed. It can be absorbed by our body to release energy, and after releasing this energy it is utilized to carry out all the essential activities of our day-to-day life. Okay, so that is the thing, that our body cannot utilize it in a complex form. It needs to get it broken down into simpler food substance. Okay. Now the question lies that where energy lies in our food. Where energy lies in food. Okay, so we must draw the diagram first. Okay, so this is the structure of glucose molecule. Okay, this is the structure of glucose molecule. Now you can see here different kinds of bonds. So there is CH bond, then there is CO bond, then OH bond and CC bond. So all these bonds are associated with different corresponding energies. So in this given diagram, all these bonds possess specific energies. Suppose CH bond possess 413 kilocalorie per mole of energy. Similarly, the CO bond possess 358 kilocalorie per mole energy. Then OH bond produces 464 kilocalorie per mole energy. Then CC bond gives out 340 kilocalorie per mole energy. Okay. Okay. So this glucose molecule has to be oxidized in order to produce or in order to liberate energy. So that basically that means the breakdown of glucose molecule actually releasing the energy which is released by the breaking down of these bonds. Okay, whenever you are taking any food, your food gets decomposed, that is the bonds present in your food gets decomposed and gives out this corresponding energies. Okay. Now, okay, so let's take a real life example. You might be consuming different kinds of food material. Okay, suppose you are taking pizza. Okay, that is the most popular food among the youngsters. Okay, so suppose you are taking pizza. Okay, now I should draw a pizza. Suppose. Okay, now see, there I am giving some toppings just like present in pizza. Okay, so suppose this is the base. Okay, this is the base made up of flour. Okay, as we know. Now this yellow part is the cheese, that is the protein part. Okay, and these are the vegetables. Okay, that is minerals. And for cooking this pizza, you must have used some oil. Okay, for cooking purpose. Now for cooking this, for this oil that is the fat. Okay, oil is the fat. Now you have taken a slice of pizza. Okay, slice of pizza contains all these nutrients, that is fat, flour, protein, minerals. Okay, fat, carbohydrate, protein, minerals, everything is present. So flour is the carbohydrate. Sorry, I missed it. Flour is the carbohydrate. Okay, so I have taken every nutrients in one slice of pizza. Okay, now our body will not be able to digest it in this form. Okay, that is carbohydrate, fats or proteins form, but the vitamins will be digested likewise, because it's a simple thing. So the carbohydrate is that carbohydrate first will be is in the form of polysaccharide. Okay, so it needs to get broken down into simpler one, that is monosaccharide. So similarly, fats also produce fatty acids, and this too will give us energy. This too will give us energy. But in case of protein will break down into amino acids. What? Amino acids. These are the building blocks of protein. So this will give us, or this will provide building block material to our body. Building block material. Okay, and vitamins protect us from any kinds of diseases. Okay, so these are the complex substances. These are the complex substances which get broken down into simpler one. I think the concept is clear to you, that how food gets broken down from complex to simpler, because as soon until and unless our body is breaking down this complex food material into simpler ones, it won't be able to absorb the nutrients. Okay, so this process is termed as digestion. Okay, so this process is termed as digestion. Okay, so this is alimentary canal. So this is the structure of alimentary canal. It consists of different components. Now, this alimentary canal is a specialized system for the digestion of the process. That is, the food that we are taking in, that is the complex food. So, it involves the breakdown of the complex food particles into simpler ones. Now, the question is, what kind of structural and functional adaptation has taken place into the alimentary canal that it is so efficient in breaking down this complex food material into simpler ones? So, now we will discuss the various aspects of this alimentary canal. So, what are the four aspects? What will be the four aspects of this? First will be the structure, or you can say anatomy. Structure and anatomy of alimentary canal. Okay. So now the question is, why should we discuss the structure, why should we discuss about the structure or the anatomy of different parts of the alimentary canal? Okay, so this is the first thing. So there will be two possible answers. One is the machinery. Okay, the machinery is involved in this. As you can see here, there are different components. So there are different machineries. So this machineries needs to do process in a 100% efficiency rate. Okay, so this machineries needs to do the process in a 100% effective way. Second will be like there are multiple processes taking place in this alimentary system at a time. So it's need to be optimized, and also like none of these processes should not interfere with the other processes. Okay. So for these two reasons we should we should know about the structure or anatomy of the alimentary canal. Next is that how this process is occurring in all of these parts of the alimentary canal. So second aspect is that how are all these processes are occurring in this alimentary canal. Okay. So what are the four processes that takes place in this alimentary canal? One is, first of all, is ingestion. Then comes mastication. Actually, mastication is a part of ingestion. Okay. Then comes the digestion. Then again comes the absorption. Then comes the assimilation, and the last one is that egestion. Okay, so these are the 5 processes that taking place in this alimentary canal. Okay, so now you will ask that what are the components? Now the question comes, what are the components of this alimentary canal, or why should we study about those components of alimentary canal? What are the components? So as you can see here in this slide, first comes the mouth. So this is the first part of the alimentary canal beginning. Then mouth has been again divided into 3 parts. Okay, one is the teeth, then tongue, then salivary gland. Okay, then comes the second part, that is the esophagus. Now, this teeth, tongue, salivary gland also called as, they altogether called as what? Buccal cavity. They altogether called as buccal cavity. Okay. So, in salivary gland there is the presence of an enzyme known as salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. What does this enzyme do? This enzyme helps to break down the complex food material into the simpler ones. Okay, that is the function of this salivary gland. That means the saliva that it secretes, salivary glands secrete saliva, and the saliva contains of this salivary amylase, which is an enzyme. Okay, which is an enzyme. Okay. Now the food that, why these complex food substances or the large food substances needs to get broken down into smaller ones? The answer comes because the food travels through this esophagus. You can see here the second part is, the next part is the esophagus. This is a very small tube-like structure. Okay, it's a muscular tube-like structure and it is narrow also. For that reason, food travels down the stomach through this esophagus, which is a very narrow one. So the foods needs to be broken down into smaller pieces, otherwise it won't be able to pass through this esophagus. That's one of the reason that foods gets decomposed into from larger substances into smaller ones. So that is another point, that why foods get decomposed. Okay. Another point will be like our body won't be able to absorb or assimilate complex food materials. It needs to get broken down. That is the another reason. Okay, so there are cumulative reasons for why this food is getting broken down from complex to the simpler ones. Okay. So what basically this esophagus do? It transfers the food from the mouth to the stomach. So stomach is the third part or the next part where the food comes from the mouth, then esophagus, then it travels to the stomach. Okay. Now the walls of this esophagus, what happens? What does it do? The walls of this esophagus squeeze the food, or you can say it contracts, which moves the food down the esophagus to the stomach. Okay. So stomach is basically a J-shaped organ. You can see here it's like a J-shaped organ. Okay, it's a J-shaped organ, muscular bag you can say, where a food can be stored temporarily for a longer period of time. Okay. Now stomach has got different functions. It has got well digestive enzyme. It also acts as a storage bag. Okay, so stomach has different functions. Okay, first is it acts as a storage bag. It acts as a storage bag that stores food temporarily for a longer period of time. Okay, so this is the first thing. Next, it also it also contains digestive enzymes, okay, that helps to break down the food. Okay, so it disintegrates the food into simpler substances. Then the food enters into the from stomach, after it is partially digested, what happens? It also, so in stomach what happens? Partial digestion of food takes place. That is another important point. Okay, that is partial digestion of food. Partial digestion of food takes place in stomach. Now, this partially digested food then comes to the where? Then comes to the small intestine. Okay. Then it comes to the small intestine. After the another part of digestion or takes place in the small intestine, and finally the food comes to the large intestine, where what happens? Where most of the water which are undigested part comes to the large intestine, where the water are absorbed from the food. Okay, and it is transferred to the rectum and it is thrown out of the body through the anus. Okay, which is the last part of the alimentary system. So what happens? The undigested part from the small intestine comes to the large intestine. Okay, so I'm seeing like I'm drawing it here. The undigested food material what happens? It comes to the large intestine. Okay, so from where undigested food material comes from? It comes from the small intestine. It comes from the small intestine. Then it comes to the large intestine, where what happens? Water is absorbed from the undigested food material. Okay, water is absorbed from the undigested food material. Then after this, the undigested food material is thrown out of the body, through where? Through anus, which is the last part of the alimentary canal. So it is the last part of the alimentary canal. Okay, so this is how digestion takes place. Okay, so this is all about digestion. From complex substances, food is broken down into simpler substances. Okay, so these are all the components of the alimentary system, so which work in a coordinated manner. Okay, and nobody interferes with the working process of the other. Okay, now we will discuss the next topic in our subsequent lectures. Like, subscribe and share our YouTube channel Newton Gate Academy. For more details, visit our website www.newtongateacademy.com, or you can call us on the displayed number. Thank you.